I finally lost weight when I stopped making these 5 mistakes. Now, I've been on my weight loss journey since 2020 and I've tried so many things to get results, and some of them actually worked, but because they were not sustainable and I could not keep up with it, I quickly gained all of the weight back and then some. However, last year I decided to be consistent and be disciplined with healthy habits and routines that were realistic, that helped me to lose 40 pounds in 4 months. Hello and good morning and welcome back to my channel. I'm Naturally Ray, or you can just call me Ray. Now, if you know you watch my videos back to back to back to back and have not subscribed, why not? Make sure you subscribe and hit your notification bell so you don't miss when I upload future vlogs and videos where I talk about health, fitness and lifestyle. So we are in the first week in February, and unfortunately about 90% of people fall off all of their New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals, New Year, new me, and losing weight. However, even if it is that your January wasn't the best, you didn't really stick to your habits and your routines that you said you were going to stick to, all hope is not lost. I'm going to give you 5 things that I stopped doing to actually see really great results and to maintain my weight loss. The first thing that I had to stop doing very early on in my weight loss journey was restrictive diets and fad diets. Now, at the beginning of every year, a lot of people want to do juicing and detoxing and fasting. Now, I'm not talking about like a biblical fasting. I'm a Christian, so usually at the beginning of every year we do corporate prayer and fast and consecration. I'm not talking about that type of fasting. I'm mainly talking about people who decide to cut out entire food groups, where they say, I'm cutting out all carbs, I'm cutting out all sugars, and I'm like, just hold on, because we just came off of the holiday season and Christmas season where you know you overate, you maybe binge a lot of food, and all of a sudden you just want to be restrictive. It really doesn't work. Now, you may end up seeing some results at least early on in your journey, but the reality is it's not sustainable and it's not going to last. Focus on trying to drastically reduce the amount of ultra processed foods that you eat, a lot of the junk foods that you eat, and just try to develop more healthy habits and healthy routines that you know you can stick with. Now, here's the thing. I know that some people like to do different types of 3-day fast, 5-day fast, 1-week fast, like maybe water only fast, which I've actually done before, and there are some benefits to it with increased levels of autophagy and cellular repair and cellular regeneration and rejuvenation. And yeah, some people do intermittent fasting. It's not the same. Even if it is you do a 16-8 window, it's really not as intense as if you do a 3-day water only fast. But my point is, even if you do those different types of fasts, it may not be beneficial for you to do it in the long term. Now, again, as I mentioned, I am a Christian, so as Christians we do fast regularly, not just the beginning of the year, but throughout the year you do prayer, fasting and consecration. However, you want to make sure that you don't do things that are so restrictive that it affects your body, it affects your hormones, it affects your gut. You don't get the proper nutrients you need, the macronutrients, the micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals. Your body is not going to function optimally and efficiently if it is that you are starving yourself and restricting yourself. And that will take me to the next mistake that I used to make very early on in my weight loss journey, and that was having a all or nothing mindset. I used to feel if it is that I can't do something perfectly, then it wasn't worth doing at all. So even when the new year would start and I know I overindulge and overconsume for the Christmas, I will go all in, like from 0 to 100, and decide, okay, I'm gonna get fit, I'm gonna get healthy, I'm gonna do all these things. But it was so hard for me to actually be consistent with it, because it wasn't something that I started implementing even the year before, or even a couple months before the previous year. And I know this sounds so cliche because everybody talks about it, but I really want you to focus on progress over perfection. Try to have your main focus on staying consistent with small daily habits that will lead to long-term results. Now, I know at the beginning of the year in January, the gyms are full, everybody wants to lose weight, everybody wants to get fit, and to be honest, you may not even really need to go to the gym. I actually lost all of my weight by doing workouts at home. Now, if it is that you're the type of person where you know that going to the gym and having that gym environment and that gym community helps you to stay consistent and disciplined, then of course go to the gym. But you could also do workouts at home. There are so many resources or videos on YouTube and different social media platforms. Now, I will still say try to find people that are reputable and certified. Follow them when it is you're doing your workouts, but you don't even need to go to the gym. Now, I do have my dumbbells, so of course, you know, I focus on progressive overload. So when it comes to my strength training and resistance training, I get really good results, especially now since I'm focusing on body composition, where I lose a lot more of my body fat and gain a lot of my lean muscle, and it has been going really well. I actually did a video, my last video, where I talked about a 30-day challenge that you can start. It's not too late. Yes, that video was supposed to start, I think, what, 2 weeks ago, but even if it is that you watch that video now, it's still not too late. Do a 30-day challenge, and it's not something that is difficult. Yes, you have non-negotiables, but make it suitable for your schedule, for your lifestyle, and something that you know is realistic and sustainable so that you can keep up with it for the long term. But anyway, like I was saying, you do not need to go to the gym. You could try to do your workouts at home. Even if you don't have dumbbells, you can actually have resistance bands. Or even if you said to yourself, you know what, let me just try to dial back and do just some stretching, to maybe do some 10-minute stretching, 15-minute stretching every single morning, and then you progress over time. Another thing you can also focus on is increasing your daily step count, which is actually one of the mistakes that I made. I had no idea as to how beneficial walking was. Now, I know a lot of people talk about getting 10,000 steps, and it's not absolutely necessary to get 10,000 steps. If it is that you get around 8,000, 9,000 steps, you actually get a lot of the same benefits with someone who walks 10,000 steps. Now, I really do walk 10,000 steps every single day. Sometimes I really do walk more, but at the end of the day, when it is you really calculate it, it really doesn't take that long for you to get to 10,000 steps. Initially, I was like, how are people actually getting these 10,000 steps? It seems like so much. But if you're walking at a good pace, obviously you're not out of breath, you can walk about 1,000 steps in 10 minutes. So in the morning, you can decide to walk 10-15 minutes, lunchtime another 10-15 minutes, in the evening another 10-15 minutes. When it is you add all of that up, you can get really close to 10,000 steps a day, or even 8,000 steps a day, and that will really help you a lot. The thing is, there's such a low barrier to entry when it comes to walking. Everybody can do it, unless you have some issues with your mobility, but you don't need to go to the gym. You don't need any special equipment. Just get some really good shoes and you're good to go. And I really love walking because it really helps me to decrease my belly fat. It's not something that you have a lot of exertion on your body, and it primarily uses fat as fuel, and you get really great results with that. So I want you to consider that as well. Walking is so key when it comes to your weight loss journey. Now, of course, when it is you're losing weight, getting fit and getting healthy, you want to focus on exercise, but 80% of the weight that you are going to lose will be from the foods that you are eating. Like I mentioned before, I want you to try your best to drastically reduce the amount of ultra processed foods that you eat, the junk foods, a lot of these snacks. Some people, they snack so much. They say, you know what, I don't really eat that much, but they snack a lot, and that is what really throws them off. Now, yes, you have to be in a calorie deficit if you want to lose weight. And I know when people mention being in a calorie deficit, one of the first things that some people think about is, oh my God, I have to starve myself. No, you do not need to starve yourself. What I want you to do is just track different things. It may be triggering for people to say, well, I don't want to count calories, but here's the thing, you need to measure the things you want to manage so that you can track your progress over time. Now, if it really is triggering for you to count your calories, you can maybe consider portioning out your food. But the reality is, if you're not even in tune with your proper hunger cues and how to intuitively eat, you may just be portioning out way too much for you, and you still would not end up being in a calorie deficit. So I want you to try your best, at least for a week or two. Get one of the apps, whether it's MyFitnessPal app, you have all these free versions, and just calculate what it is that you really eat for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and do it for a week. maybe 2, that might be better, and just track it so you would know how to change it and adjust it over time. It does not mean that you have to starve yourself. It doesn't mean that you have to eat foods that doesn't taste good. As a matter of fact, I really try to adopt the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the time I try my best to eat whole, unprocessed or minimally processed foods, and then 20% of the time I have my treat meals and my cheat meals. Now try your best not to overdo it, because when it comes to what I did before in the past, I would be really good Monday to Friday, and then on the weekends I would like enjoy myself, and I basically canceled all of my progress that I made during the week, and I was wondering why it is I'm not seeing results, because I felt as though I was doing so good with beating a calorie deficit. I was really sticking to everything that I needed to do, but the reality is when the weekend came, I overindulged so much I canceled all of my progress. So try your best not to do that. Of course, you really want to focus on getting enough fiber in your diet, get your healthy fats, get your protein, which takes me into the next mistake. I just was not eating enough protein at the very beginning of my weight loss journey. Protein is so key when it comes to muscle preservation, building muscle, and of course you want to focus on building that muscle so that you can increase your BMR, and when you're at rest you're actually like burning calories without doing anything. The more muscle you have on you, it's so beneficial. I know I talk about how important muscle is in a couple of my videos, so make sure that you're also focusing on getting your protein. Now I try my best to get about 1 gram of protein per pound of my ideal body weight. So just for example, if it is that your ideal body weight is 130 grams, then try to get maybe between like 100 to 130 grams of protein every single day. And I know that seems like a lot, but try your best maybe at breakfast and lunch and dinner, your main meals, to get at least 30 grams of protein. So that gets you very close to 100, which is a really good start. Now a lot of people, a lot of companies are now labeling a lot of their snacks and their granolas and their products as these are high protein, because they know that everybody is looking to get high protein meals, high protein snacks. So they're labeling all of these things as high protein. A couple of videos back I actually did a little clip where I showed you all how to identify if a particular snack or product or meal is high protein. I will maybe put the clip in here. I really want you all to look at this so that you don't be deceived. If it is you really want to know if a particular product is high in protein, then watch this clip. So this is a container of my feta cheese to show you all if a particular product is high in protein. So you want to look at the calories per serving, which in this case is 70, and then you compare it to the amount of grams of protein, which is 6. So you add a 0 to the amount of protein that you have, and in this case it would be 60, and when you compare it to 70, those numbers are pretty close together. So this particular product is a high protein to calorie ratio. Now what will make this even better, if the protein was maybe 12 grams and you add a 0 to it, it will be 120 grams of protein compared to the calories per serving 70. And once that protein is way above this particular number, then that will be a really good high protein to calorie ratio. On the other hand, if for example this particular container had 3 grams of protein, when you add a 0 to it, it will make it 30 grams in comparison to 70, and 30 obviously is way less than 70, definitely less than half. So if for example this container had only 3 grams of protein, this would not be a good product to say that it is high in protein to your calorie ratio. So it's so easy for you to identify high protein products. You can pick up something from the shelf in the grocery and just look and see if it is they're saying, oh, you could get 20 grams of protein. 20 grams of protein is a lot of protein, but if I have to eat 400 calories just to get 20 grams of protein, it is not worth it. It really isn't. I really want you all to make sure that you're doing the right things, developing healthy habits, developing healthy routines, being consistent and being disciplined so that you can become the healthiest and best version of yourselves. Let me know how your 2025 is going. If it is that January was not as good as you want it to be, it is okay. We're still very early at the beginning of the year, and it's a really good time to get back on track and course correct. Let me know how things are going for you. I really hope these tips will help you on your weight loss and fitness journey, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.